is Jorik. Welcome to another video of my outdoor series. This is going to be the first video of the stealth camping series, in which we will prepare ourselves for stealth camping and we will go stealth camping. Now this can also be seen as a video of my ghillie suit series, because we are going to ghillify a bivy bag. Now the bivy bag is basically a shelter system, and very simple. It is a waterproof cover for your sleeping bag, so you don't have to carry a tent, set up poles. If you use a hammock normally, you don't have to find trees, put up a big obvious tarp over it, on top of it. So this is basically a shelter that you roll out, get into, sleep, roll up, and you're good to go again. So that is why I choose the bivy bag, and now we are going to ghillify the bivy bag. So without further ado, let's get into the video. Okay, so this is our bivy bag. If it's the first time for you that you use a bivy bag, make sure you put the right side on the floor and the breathable side on top, because otherwise it's going to be a hell of something. And if you're not sure which side is which, just make sure you check the flap that covers the zipper, and make sure it flaps down, so when it rains it runs over this flap and not into the flap into your bivy bag. Same for the head cover, make sure it goes over. Also a big notice that you can see is you got a bigger side down, basically like a hood, a bit of a hood, like your sleeping bag probably has. So yeah, make sure you put the right side up, because we are only going to cover the upside of this bag, because the bottom side won't be visible because it's laying down. So more like a traditional ghillie suit, we will only cover one side. Before we spray paint anything, we are going to use the clean surface first to attach and glue our nets on. So we attach things directly to the bag instead of to the paint. Okay, so I bought 3 nets, and as you can tell, this isn't clearly enough to cover the whole surface. Now that is something we are not going to do anyway. We are not going to net this whole thing. We could, but it's not necessary at all. So what we will do instead is we will cut strips and tiny parts. Oh, okay, I have to cut these off. You can get rid of the cord, we don't need that. Okay, so now we have a better understanding of what we can cover and what we can't cover. Now, the most important areas that we should cover is the bottom of our feet, the whole top. So we are going to use a bigger strip over here, and I will cut it right now. And the same goes for the for our head cover. So I'm looking something decent in size. I can sacrifice a big part actually of this. Okay, so this is something that will take care of our feet. What we should have is we should have a few square pieces. Can be big, can be tiny, doesn't matter. All I want to do is make sure we have enough for our feet to cover, because if we lay flat on our back, our feet will poke up and our head will be bigger as usual. So instead of trying to camouflage that, we are going to exaggerate it and make our feet and our head look bigger than they actually are. So that is something that I'm going to do. Also, if you're a side sleeper, your hips will be very big. If you got broad shoulders, your shoulders will be very big, but the shoulders can blend in with the head. So either way, make the head very big. We basically want to get rid of the sausage as much as we can. So this is a patch. We can also have more tiny patches. We don't have to do everything as big. And now this part looks very usable for the back of our head. So for the part here, this part. So that can stay over there, it's perfect. We also want to have a grid patch over here, something here. So I will cut some strips now. This is a little bit too open for me, so I'm gonna have to swap something. I think I will swap this one, like so. Actually, I will have another piece, so this can stay here like it is, and this because I want something more for my feet. Yeah, and this is something I'm happy with. So yeah, now we are going to glue everything together. So I bought myself some silicone. This is not inexpensive silicone. This is a very decent brand, and we really need this because this will this needs to stick, or the whole camouflage thing just falls off. We could have done things differently. We can sew it to our BV bag, but then we will have tiny holes which water will run through, and then we have to cover it with silicone all the way from both sides, so in and out, to make sure that the water doesn't get in. And then you can use cheaper silicone, but I don't think it's worth all the extra time and the risk that you take making your BV cover not as waterproof anymore as it should be. So don't save your money on silicone, use a bit more expensive silicone, make sure it sticks. This brand, Tech7 is a very nice brand. Okay, so the way that we glue this to our bag is we want to pinpoint these where the net comes together, so we want to pinpoint the crosses. Now we don't have to use every we don't have to glue every dot to it, especially not the big ones, because the big ones we can use as a pouch to put leaves underneath. But for the smaller ones I can show you how I do it, and you want to wear gloves for this, or at least have a paper towel by your side, or a plastic bag or something, because you will see how messy this is. So we put a dot of silicone right here. Okay, so I'll cover my finger with this plastic because I don't have any gloves around. So that's the way you do it. Okay, so that's the way you want to do it. It doesn't really matter that it's dirty or not perfect, because that is actually the look we are going for. And you don't have to worry that it's a bit shiny at some spots, like for instance here. This is a bit too much. You can put it over here, doesn't really matter, because as soon as we go to the forest we will put some sand over this thing and everything will be dirty and not shiny anymore, so you don't have to worry about that. If you can choose, please don't use transparent colored silicone, because that is just going to look white and be glossy and look gluey and everything. So if you can choose, pick the brown color, and if you have to choose another color, pick the black one, but don't use white, transparent or something else. I never seen green, but if you can find green, you can use green, but brown is the color of sand anyway, so I would suggest that you go with brown. Okay, so I finished the whole thing. We are 2 days further now. The first thing I did was, last time I filmed and I covered the whole top part, Then I let it dry overnight and I came back to do the net that covers the top of our head as well as the bottom of our feet. And I want to show you something with the bigger nets, like at the head, the feet, and the one in the middle where our hips would normally be. I left one side open so we can easily stuff it with twigs, dead grass and leaves, and that will help us with the with adding natural vegetation to the whole mix. Now, we didn't break up the outline yet. That is something we will do in later videos. The point of this video is to make sure that we have a good base, and in the next video we will talk about spray painting this thing, making it uneven because as you can see it is still very even from afar. So that is the next thing we will work on, and that we will also talk about layers. Now the way we will do it is we will use stencils. We won't just spray it all the way up. We will actually use tree branches and leaves, real leaves, to give us a camouflage pattern. So, but all that is for the next video. I would love to see you guys then. Thanks for watching. Oh, one more thing. If you doubt that the silicone won't hold, the only thing that it really has to withstand is snagging on twigs and everything when we walk in the bush. If you carry it out of your backpack or even stuffing it with stuff like that, you don't have to worry, the silicone will hold, and I will torture test this thing really quickly to show you guys. It will survive a couple of snags. So as you can see, it didn't loosen up anywhere at all. So you don't have to sew it, you can use silicone. Pick a good brand and you will be fine. So thank you for watching, see you next video.